It's funny, man. Um, it's funny that when Scottie Pippen, according to media interpretation, said that LeBron was a better player, okay, than Michael Jordan, which isn't exactly what he said. Um, they, some of those fanboys in the media, they loved it. They would defend his opinion, say, Scottie has a right to his opinion. Look, the guy that played with Michael Jordan says LeBron is better. What is that? You need any more proof than that? When I think his exact quote was something like, Michael Jordan is probably the best scorer the game's ever seen. I'm paraphrasing a lot, but he said LeBron James just may go down as the best all-around player the game has ever seen. Something like that. Now, if you listen to what he's actually saying, he's saying eventually LeBron James may go down as the best all-around player we've ever seen. Now, look, let me put it like this. In the 1960s, who was the best all-around player in the 1960s, right? Most people would say Oscar Robertson. But do most people rank Oscar Robertson ahead of Wilt Chamberlain or Bill Russell? No. Some people even still put Jerry West ahead of Oscar. In the 1970s, you can make the argument the best all-around player in the NBA may have been John Havlicek. He could score. He was a good rebounder on the first position. He was a great defensive player. He could facilitate. He could do it all. But do most people consider Hondo the best player in the 1970s? Like rankings wise, he's considered a top 20 to 25 all-time player. But I don't think most people rank him ahead of Kareem. You know what I mean? Later on, most people don't rank him ahead of, the second half of the 70s, most people don't rank him ahead of, almost nobody ranks him ahead of Dr. J, right? So, in the 1990s, what did we hear from Scottie Pippen? What was the biggest talking point we heard in the media? Scottie Pippen, especially right from 1993 to 96, he was the best all-around player in the NBA. But nobody ranked him ahead of David Robinson. Nobody ranked him ahead of Hakeem Olajuwon. Nobody ranked him ahead of Shaquille O'Neal. Definitely didn't rank him ahead of Michael Jordan. Okay? So there's that. Also, people's opinions can evolve over time. I can say for a certainty that at one point in time, I thought LeBron James was the best player in the NBA, bar none. I didn't think he get enough credit. I thought he was a far superior player to Kobe Bryant. And I know that Bruce Blitz thought the same thing, right? You know our positions on that. I've evolved over time from looking at the media hype with this guy, and my eyes became more open. When you watch the games, you start seeing certain things about LeBron that are kind of annoying. I don't know what some people see, but I see a guy that at some times during the game, he's consciously trying to pad his numbers. In particular, if it's a game where it's becoming a certainty that his team's going to lose. That's when I really see him doing that. Well, we're down by 18 with 4 minutes to go. We're probably going to lose. Okay, I got 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Let me start passing it to guys. Even though the best basketball play for the team would be for me to score, I want to pad my numbers, get close to a triple-double as possible. So I can say, hey, I had triple-double. Look at these other guys. You know, he does shit like that. So people's opinions can change over time. I am now beginning to think that he's not better than Kobe Bryant. And I clearly see and agree with what Scottie Pippen's point is about LeBron lacking that killer instinct. If you watch this guy in the playoffs, you see it especially in the playoffs. Okay? In the playoffs, your mindset has to change. I remember what I saw differently in Dirk Nowitzki in 2011 as opposed to 2007 and 2006. I saw a guy who was determined to lead his team to a championship. Dirk looked different that year. He looked like a man on a mission. I don't see that with this guy every year. Fuck every year. I don't see this guy. I don't see that consistently with this guy in every series. Oh, when he was with Miami, especially, but when he was with Cleveland, if his team was up by 20 points, oh, this guy's ferocious. This guy's going in the lane, dunking on people. He's pulling up shooting threes. You know, when he has that padded lead, he's phenomenal. But when he's in certain situations where his team is down or there's some type of adversity, oftentimes LeBron James folds under pressure. He loses confidence. If he misses, I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day. I'm a big, fierce critic of James Harden, but one thing I will say about James Harden, the one positive I'll say about him is he isn't afraid to take a shot. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's missed 6 or 7 shots in a row, he doesn't fear missing a jump shot. I give him that. Michael, forget about it. Kobe, please. Those guys didn't give a fuck about if they missed a shot. They wanted to take it. They wanted to. Oftentimes, he doesn't want the ball in his fucking hands. As much as it, I can put it like this: as much as ball dominant as LeBron James is for the first 46 minutes of a game, and in situations where his team is down or whatever, now all of a sudden he wants to become a facilitator. He wants to pass he wants to pass to other players. You know, how many times when he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? The second time. How many times did we see guys like J.R. Smith or Rodney Hood or whoever? How many times did we see these guys with the ball in their hands when the ball should have been in LeBron James' hands? Why is such and such taking a shot with 30 seconds to go and the team down by 1 when you should be taking a shot, LeBron? And yeah, ESPN could be putting up all these fucking misleading numbers showing LeBron as efficient as Michael in the clutch and all that shit. Look, man, all that shit is misleading, man. A lot of that shit is misleading. A lot of times, LeBron James is in the fucking paint, you know what I'm saying, scoring an easy bucket. You know, a lot of times I'm convinced that comes against, you know, inferior competition, teams that they should have already been fucking obliterating any fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Because those Cleveland teams often underperformed in the playoffs or even during the regular season, what have you. Okay, so I think that shit's really misleading. I've just seen this guy too many fucking times. When LeBron James misses a couple of jump shots, he folds and he doesn't want to shoot anymore. speaking of 2011 finals, we will never forget that. Those of us who remember that final series will never forget the absolute choke job he put up in that finals. It was at that moment that I started seeing LeBron more critically. And I've seen this guy fold too often. I've seen this guy, you could look at him and tell that he quit on his team. It's a certain look that he has of slight disgust and frustration, and it's like he becomes resigned in his mind. He's just going through the motions. The passion leaves him. You could just see it. I saw that look in 2010 in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, when, as the truth said, he had the most irrelevant triple-double in the history of the NBA. I saw that look last year after he got blown away by the Warriors again. All right? And I'm starting to see that look now with the Lakers. But of course, he has the built-in excuse that's always cooked up fresh and ready, fresh from the oven by his fanboys in the media. They're going to use the injury excuse. They're going to use, oh, well, no one ever expected this team to do very well anyway, which is bullshit. Because I remember coming into this season, some people were saying, hey, this Lakers team is going to win 60 games. They're going to contend with the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. I definitely remember motherfuckers now who are trying to temper expectations, okay? They're trying to temper expectations. They were saying that this team was going to contend with the Western Conference Championship with the Golden State Warriors. I, on the other hand, thought that at best, this team could make it to the second round and they're going to win 47 to 48 games. At this point in time, that's a pipe dream. What this team can hope for now is to win 44, 45 games and just make it to the playoffs and become a first round hors d'oeuvre for the Golden State Warriors. That's the best they can hope for right now, because they're going to get pummeled if they make it to the playoffs. All right. LeBron James is clearly breaking down as a player, and he's clearly on the downside of his career. And because he's on the downside of his career, he's going to need more and more help to actually even have a chance at another championship. But that's my take on it. Scottie Pippen is entitled to his opinion, just as I am, just as you are. And if he thinks that LeBron James is lacking that killer instinct, so to speak, I agree with that. That's what many people think separated Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. If Wilt Chamberlain, don't get me wrong, Wilt Chamberlain was competitive. He was a very competitive man. That gets kind of lost in history. He was competitive, but he was aware of his physical dominance, and he held back a lot in his game. Whereas Bill Russell was nasty. He was competitive and he was nasty. If Wilt Chamberlain had Bill Russell's competitiveness, Wilt Chamberlain would probably be considered, bar none, the greatest player of all time. He probably would have won even more MVPs, and he definitely would have won more than 2 NBA championships. He probably would have won at least 6 or 7. Because the Celtics and the Philadelphia Warriors, later the San Francisco Warriors, and later the Lakers, and and the Sixers, all those teams that Wilt played on, a lot of times those series were a lot closer than people think in history. A lot of times the margin of difference was 2, 5, 7 points in a lot of those games. And oftentimes Wilt did wilt, pun intended, down the stretch in some of those playoff games. But tell me what you guys think, man. Do you think Scottie Pippen is completely wrong, or do you agree with Scottie?